the storm maybe got their electricity, or we don't know, but we're missing several. But you know what? You're here, and that's what's important to me. I always believe who's supposed to be here is here, right? And we have a great panel of guests for you today, and we are so excited to present what independent living communities look like. It's a learning opportunity for you and for us to hear what the others have gone through to get to this point and what the different communities offer. Because they're all different personalities, just like we have different personalities, right? So it's really a fun and exciting time. I wore my green because today is St. Patrick's Day, and we're going to have Mardi Gras. We're celebrating Mardi Gras for different things. So welcome to March, everybody, right? Okay, Casey, come on down. Casey is the Francis Tuttle representative, and we are so honored to be able to come here, this beautiful venue. We even had Ellen even mentioned how beautiful our new is. She just loves it, so that's exciting for us.
Let me see if I can get this to turn on.
I'll stand close to you.
Okay, so, is it working? Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
It's magical. My name is Casey, and I'm with Francis Tuttle Technology Center, and I just wanted to take a moment to thank all of you for being here. We are so happy that you're here on our campus today, and if you've never been here before, I hope you get the opportunity to look around. There were some middle school students that were coming around too.
It's active and it's hopping, and we kind of like it that way, right?
Yes. So we, a lot of what we do, and we call it the yellow bus side. So you're thinking high school students, right? And we do have a lot of that going on here, but we are an open campus, and we are paid for by ad valorem taxes, which means that it is owned by the community. And so we are happy that you're here. We love opening our doors for you. Come check it out anytime you want to come and see all the great things that we're doing. We educate from young to old and everything in between. So we love having you here.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. We're just leave it on.
There you go.
Well, and I want to also make mention about our wonderful, all of this is possible because of our, and now we're having problems with this.
There's a little button on the side that you have to slide to turn it on. I was afraid that the battery would die.
How many of you have heard me say that I am what? Technically challenged. I am not a techie, so, oh, yep, there you go. That's a good deal. Okay, I want to thank my sponsors, and please take your time after the Q&A, after you have time to question, have all your questions answered. Please go by the tables. They all have something special to share with you about this topic and about other things that have to do with your health, all different kinds of things. And we just want you to visit with them, get to know them, because we are all about relationship. These relationships that you're forming here at the Time for Living seminars is going to even help you have in your hand, in your back pocket, things you may not need now, but you're learning about the future, and you're going to be able to glean from these sponsors and what they can provide for you throughout the year, maybe even 2 years, 3 years down the road. But you're going to have your little notebook of notes and go, you know what, there was that person that did that, Rent-A-Daughter or Home Health, what was their name? Yes, Right at Home. You know, all the different things, you're going to have those right at your hands and your fingertips. And that's what we're here to do, is to educate, equip, and empower you to make those proactive choices rather than reactive choices. Because our choices shrink when they're reactive. Our spotlight person is not here. I think she's caught in traffic. Shelley is on her way. So what we'll do is we may come back, and unless you feel comfortable.
I don't have a clue what she's
Debbie
saying.
says, I sit at the table and give out things.
Well, I know some things, but I have no
Yes.
idea what she's going to say today, but she should be here any minute. She
No
texted
no
me.
problem. We're going to go ahead and start, and we may kind of have an interim thing in the middle, and go to our spotlight, because what we'd like to do is, our spotlight section is just to spotlight the sponsors so that you can get to know them and what they can provide for you. It's never going to be about a sales pitch. You're never pressured to use us, to buy from us, to do anything like that. We just want to provide you the resources. That's our purpose. So, we're going to start today. I'm going to introduce Mr. Richard Amends with St. Anne's. And we're real excited for these are also our sponsors, which mean a lot to me because they really believe in the industry of making their communities, your home. That's what it is, your home. So Richard, tell us a little bit about, and there is a handout that he's going to go over quickly with you, and then we're going to have a time of his testimonials of some
As she mentioned, my name is Richard Amend. You can just say amen. Amen. It always has. I've been at St. Anne's for 18 years, and I just love it. It's a wonderful community on the northwest side of Oklahoma City on Britton Road, west of Lake Hefner. And in the booklets, if you look on page 3 in our booklet, you can see our aerial view of our community. And it is very large, 120 apartments in our independent living, 50 apartments in our assisted living, and that's all under one roof. We have a beautiful chapel. We're owned and operated by the Archdiocese of Oklahoma City, which is the Catholic Church, but we have all different denominations that live there. And so you see our place. We are not a buy-in, we're month to month. And we, as I mentioned, independent and assisted living. In our assisted living, we've added levels of care, but we're talking about independent living today. High quality services and wonderful family and guests are welcome. We also have guest rooms that family members from out of state can rent on a nightly basis so they can stay close to their family. If you'll turn the page, you'll see our respite care, and that relates to assisted living. But you'll see the 10th anniversary of our celebration. We celebrate a lot. Wonderful. If you turn the next page, 20th anniversary, we celebrated the whole month of June with several different events. And as I mentioned, we are 22 years old, so we can vote and we can do all those things now. If you look on the next page, 4th of July celebration features our 106-year-old at the time, and he was Uncle Sam. So our people lived to be ripe old ages of many centenarians that we've had in our community. I don't know if it's our food or what, but it's a wonderful experience. You can see where we celebrate luau's and we celebrate king and queen crowning, which we will do this afternoon. This couple, it may win that prize at St. Anne's, but we also play volleyball, seated in chairs with a beach ball over a net. And it has become an incredible thing, very competitive and very fun. Now the staff goes against the residents in a quarterly basis, and they beat us last time. Next page, you can see that we celebrate Christmas in a big way. I'm Santa Claus, I grow out my beard, and we have more fun bringing in a real sleigh and all that. And we love our veterans, and we had actually a wonderful tournament, Olympic tournament, and 20 of our veterans passed the torch to each other. And it ended up with one of our famous 101-year-olds, Rosie the Riveter. Rosie the Riveter. On the next page, you can see our chapel. And I will close with saying, you can't buy happiness, but living at St. Anne's is the next best thing. There's my 2 minutes.
Good job!
And I will pass this on to our wonderful residents, Bob and Kathy Heschkamp, who have been in our community for a while, and they are just a delight. And they chose a couple of questions. One was the reason you downsized and made the move. So I'll pass it on to Bob and Kathy.
I'll go ahead and get us started here. By the way, as far as the veterans go, we're both veterans. So we have lived all over the world. We know all about what it takes to get moved, to get comfortable. We know what things to look for, what is the truth, what might be, what might not be, I'll just put it that way. And so we are really tickled about the move that we have made. It was that right time in our life.
Downsizing was a little scary for me at first because we hadn't even dreamt about downsizing. But it just kind of happened and it fell into place. And it was a very good experience, but scary. I was scared most of the time. I'm going to give her a little pump. I had this lady from Clutter Free. She was amazing of going through the house and deciding what I wanted to keep, what I wanted to take, and she was awesome in saying, you don't really need that, do you? And you know, 'cause she knew, that's what she does for a living. And I want to tell you, I was so rattled the day we were moving that, and she saw it, and she came, I'll never forget that she did this. She came up to me, put both of her hands on my shoulders, and said, okay, we're going to calm down now. Take a deep breath. And then she said some really nice things to me, and it just calmed me. So the team that we worked with were awesome. Connie and Terry sold our house. We hadn't sold a house in over 30 years, and they worked really hard for us.
Okay, next question, or did you have something else?
Go ahead.
Next question, this is not an advertisement for anybody, even though we're bragging about all these wonderful people. That's why we're here. The next question was, share with us what you like about St. Anne's, the activities, and do you participate, and things like that.
There are so many different activities there. It's really kind of hard to say. We participate in probably 90% of what's going on, and we're very much a part of it because we're people, kind of people. And a lot of other folks are there too, and we have found that sharing with other people our lives and hearing what they have to say and getting involved in these activities has been really good for us. I can tell you about a lot of the activities, but I can't talk for more than half an hour. So.
The activities that we have gone to there, they have bingo like 4 or 5 times a week. They have horse races quarterly, I guess, I don't know. And they make it fun. Every single activity that is at St. Anne's is fun. Like the horse races, you have, if you wear a hat, you get an extra horse to play. It's just,
Movies.
they have movies, they have just, this afternoon we go back, we're having a Mardi Gras party. Woo! And it's gonna be wonderful.
Yeah, today's Mardi Gras, we are bringing in alpacas. If you've ever been around an alpaca, it's one of the most wonderful animals in the world. They're very gentle. I'm sure they'll be full of beads and everything, and we'll have a wonderful time.
Thank you.
Check
Thank
us
you so
out.
much. And we're gonna open it up for questions. You can ask them any questions you want, any of our panelists during the 30-minute Q&A. Okay, that's totally your time. But we just wanted to highlight these people at first for you. I'm going to, Ellen, if you'll give me grace here, we're going to go ahead and shift to the spotlight. Since she mentioned Shelley, let's hear a little bit about what Clutter Free offers. Casey's going to, there she is, she's got it for you. Here's the mic, here's the
Okay.
clicker.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me to be here today with you and share about Clutter Free. I started Clutter Free about 10 years ago. This April will be 10 years. After working in nonprofit field since I was 17 years old. And anyone that's worked in nonprofit or areas like that, the more you give, the more it seems to take, right? And so I got to a place in life where my kids needed me, my husband needed me, and I needed to take control of my own schedule. So I opened Clutter Free, and we have grown to 13 team members, and we work on different sites all over the metro. And what Clutter Free does is we help people, and I've never done this before, so I'm having an experience.
There, you told
Yay.
about yourself, there's
Okay.
Shelley.
Yay! And I have two wonderful boys and a husband of 29 years who is so supportive of everything that I do. But Clutter Free, we help to do professional organizing, downsizing, packing, unpacking, moving local and out of state, and we do estate sales as well. And we also help to get your home staged and clean for listing your home. And it's a wonderful experience for my team because every project that we do is a positive, helping people move forward in their life. And we come with grace, compassion, patience, and understanding because we have been through this process multiple times. And each individual that we work with has a different set of issues, different personality. And so we adjust to your personality, your schedule, and your needs. And I'm very thankful for all of the business that we have been able to have this last 10 years, and we look forward to helping many other people. And myself and my office manager, Debbie, will be available afterwards if you have any questions. Thank you so much.
And she has some testimonials that I'm just gonna leave up there, just, you have about another minute and a half, so I'm gonna ask you some questions
Oh, yes.
while they can read your
I
testimonial.
did under 5 minutes, that's great.
Yes, you did. Because, you know, one thing about testimonials is, they're doing it because they believe in it, and it's what they experienced when they went through it.
Yeah.
So it's very important to have the different testimonials. So, Shelley, in coming from that background, you have a very soft heart as far as, do you take the time to sit and listen to what they are wanting to do, how they want to move forward? Is that very important to you?
Oh,
To make
yes.
sure that you hear them and what
Absolutely.
they're needing?
Yeah, our first step with any client or potential client is to sit down and understand. I love, one of my concepts is begin with the end in mind. I want to understand, where do you want to be, and then work backwards to make that a reality. And so we listen. There's a TikTok thing that's going around, you guys may not know it, but it's like, we listen and we don't judge.
I heard someone come in with it. We listen and we
It
don't
just
judge.
made me
That is
think,
so true.
it made me think about that. But whatever circumstance, we want to listen and understand, because like I said, every household is different. Some may have not moved in 30 years. Some may have just lived in their home for 3 years and have decided to downsize. But we definitely want to meet with you first, hear what your goals are, hear what maybe your frustrations are, and what kind of obstacles that you might have in your life. And then we want to set a game plan to be able, or I call it a timeline, to be able to achieve your goals.
Thank you, Shelley. Awesome. Thank you. We feel like we know a little more about Clutter Free, right? And what they provide. So that's very important. All right, now we're going to move on to, thank you, Ellen and Jake. This is Jake Kimmel, and he is representing of Spanish Cove, and he is my, I do a downsizing class, and he's like, I'm sending you this file, I don't know if it's gonna work, what I do with it, and he just takes care of it. And I've seen that, I've been there, you know, touring, walking through, and the people just love Jake. So welcome, Jake, Spanish Cove. Let's hear about Spanish Cove.
Yeah, so once again, I'm Jake Kimmel. I'm the Assistant Director of Marketing at Spanish Cove. I've been at Spanish Cove for the last 2 years now, and I've also only been in the senior living industry for that long as well, but it's been a fantastic experience. Prior to that, I was in the fintech industry, so coming into senior living was a big switch up for me, but I've absolutely fallen in love working with seniors on a daily basis. And Spanish Cove is a phenomenal community. We've been around for 50 years. We just celebrated our 50th anniversary last year. And we are a CCRC, a continuing care retirement
Did you bring a
community.
video?
We did bring a video, and we're gonna give some more information there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, but as a
Have it
CC,
wound up?
I have to go just for 5 minutes, it's gonna start playing. So.
Oh,
well,
So you don't have to go around these long hallways. You can step right here a few steps from your door to get outside and take a walk, visit your friends, look at the flowers. We have exercise classes. We have a motor coach to take trips. There's one thing I want to tell you. All the communities that we visited were quiet, not Spanish Cove. We play, we visit, have a good old time.
We'd love to hear from you. Call Jill, 405-354-5906.
I've been associated with Spanish Cove for the last 6 years. After 3 years as an employee, I decided to become a Spirit Club member. We became residents and I'm a member of the Spanish Cove golf team.
I love the painting classes that we go to. I go to the fitness center. They have a lot of activities to keep you active and keep you healthy.
There's no doubt that you need to move in before you need to move in.
We'd love to hear from you. Call Jill, 405-354-5906.
I would. Oh, yeah. This was our, what's the deal? This was our, I'll explain. Yeah.
Now try it, Ellen.
Well, just to clarify that last little bit of the clip, that was our trip that we made to Yellowstone, to the Teton Mountains, to Jackson Hole, and all that whole area. We flew to Salt Lake City, and the bus met us. Our coach, which is a newer coach than the one in the picture, we've got a new coach since then, met us there, and then we toured all through that area, and we had what we call first-class treatment the whole way. As a matter of fact, I don't know how much weight we gained, but anyway, we ate on the bus, we ate off the bus, we ate, well, whatever. But anyway, it was a great trip, a lot of memories, and we went, some of the people even zip-lined across the Royal Gorge Canyon. And I went in the what do you call that thing? The gondola. I went in the gondola. I did not zip line. As a matter of fact, one of our couples, they were zip lining across together, and all of a sudden his stopped out in the middle of the canyon. And they had to send the guy out in the middle of the canyon and pull him across. So we made a lot of memories on that trip. And we have a lot of trips planned.
Okay, Ellen, first of all, we all want to know, is he still living? I mean, did he have a heart attack?
He is still living, and he is,
Good.
yes.
A happy
Yes.
ending, right?
Yeah, it was great, it was great. And it was a great trip. 10 days of being with a group of wonderful people and seeing marvelous scenery and having wonderful experiences.
So one of the things you really enjoy about Spanish Cove is they organize trips.
Well, that is a big plus, and a lot of people, that's a big attraction for Spanish Cove, is that we happen to have our tour person right here in our room right now, taking pictures, and she does a fantastic job. Kathleen does a fantastic job.
Yeah,
But that's a big attraction.
We're having Kathleen, you'll notice on the program, we're doing a traveling seminar, and Kathleen's gonna be on our panel, so.
Well, there's a trip planned to Branson shortly, another one to Albuquerque, and then next year, I believe our travel club is looking at a cruise to Alaska. So a lot of opportunities, day trips, long trips. We have a lot of activities.
So let me ask you, Ellen, I'm just taking a
Yeah,
minute.
that's okay.
I'm sorry,
You
Jay.
go for it.
Just real quick, did you, what misconceptions did you have about independent living
Well,
communities?
you know, I have to say that each one of us have unique situations, and we'll go toward this in our own special way. Mine was, I began the journey out of necessity. I was a caregiver for my husband who had Parkinson's for many, many years. And we moved to Yukon, actually to be close to our son. I'm gradually saying my, but it's instead of our all the time. But our son, and in the beginning the progression was slow, but then in 2020 it got really bad. And so I had to have back surgery, and I ended up going to Spanish Cove for skilled nursing and rehab. So I started at the other end before I went to independent living, and got a good taste of how they treat you as a life care person. And so anyway, but before I could get strong enough to take care of my husband, he passed away. So I had back surgery in March. He passed away in April, and I moved to Spanish Cove in May, which is probably not the normal or usual, if there is a normal path. I don't know if there is a normal path, but my son was the one that gave me a lot of counseling as to what to do, because he was a pastor and he was very familiar with Spanish Cove. He had church members who were there, and he visited on a regular basis, and he knew the administration and he knew the programs they had. So he gave me good advice on that.
Awesome, that's wonderful.
May I continue?
Sure, what, did you have something else you wanted to?
Oh, yeah, I'm not near through.
Okay, well, we may stop you in another minute.
Okay.
Share that last remark that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, the thing that was so interesting, you know, I have to admit, things were kind of a blur during this time. You know, there were a lot of changes going on. But, so I went to Spanish Cove and I picked an apartment. But my son was driving down the street one day and he said, I'm gonna go, because we had to make a few changes to it. I mean, maybe paint, a few things like that. But anyway, he said, I'm going to see if there's something available. And so he went in, there was an apartment available. And, you know, he does have a pretty good line with the Lord as a pastor. So I think he got some instruction that day. And so anyway, he called me, and I went and looked at the apartment, and it was ready to move in. It was great. And he said, well, Mom, we need to make a decision because they're going to show this apartment at 1 o'clock. And I said, well, Keith, what time is it? He said, it's 12:55. And I said, oh, okay, well, we'll take it. And that was it. And in addition to these kinds of travel things, guys, we have, look here. Here's our monthly activities. Here's our weekly list as a reminder. We have yoga, and we have line dancing, and we have strength and stretch. We're right now walking every afternoon, getting ready for the marathon, the senior marathon. We have swimming. We have mystery trips. We have town hall today, where the residents get together and they listen to the committees who report, because we have connection with every aspect of our administration. So we're very involved.
Great, Ellen, I just want to end real quick with.
May I say one more thing?
Yes.
Okay.
One more thing, so you
Let me
can't
say this.
Actually, you can't say anything.
Let me say this to you guys. Get your kids involved if they're willing to help you, because they may not realize it, but this could be the best gift you ever give them.
Very nice, very nice. That's so true. I think you've heard me say that. Any proactive planning is a wonderful gift to your children. We're going to move right on now to Touchmark, and Julie's going to tell us a little bit about herself, and we're going to move on and look at the gorgeous, beautiful Touchmark and what it has to offer. Absolutely.
Okay, hi, I'm Julie, and this is Susan, and we're retirement counselors at Touchmark. I'm gonna have to get the glasses on. So Touchmark at Coffee Creek is up on Covell Road. We have independent living, where we have single-family homes, we have villas, and then we have apartments in the main building. The homes are maintenance-free, single-family homes ranging from 1,500 to 2,300 square feet. The villas are duplexes with a single car attached garage. They're about 1,300 square feet. And then our independent living apartments in the building range from studios to 2-bed, 2-bath, what we call our grand apartments, which are almost 1,400 square feet. We also have assisted living, if that should ever you need that. And it goes from studios all the way up to 2-bed, 2-bath apartments. And then we also have memory care, so you can age in place in our community. We have a dining, we have restaurant-style dining, we have a bistro and a pub, so you have food options throughout the day. We have a health and fitness center that offers group classes, the equipment like the Stairmaster, the bikes, the treadmill, and then we also offer personal training. And then we have a billiards room, we have a library, a salon, there's game rooms, there's just extra things to keep you busy throughout the day. But the most special part of our community is our residents. So there you can see they were celebrating the longest day where we had Olympic-style events all day. We kicked off football season with a tailgate party where we had Boomer and Pistol Pete, and then we had I think in that picture, they're doing some painting in one of our activity rooms. And then can you hit play for this one? Casey, can you hit play? I don't know how to get it to play from here, unless... Oh wait, maybe I got it. Oh no, you got it. And then this is a resident family, like she said, giving the gift.
My mom actually moved to Touchmark right in the middle of COVID, which was absolutely the best decision she's made. It was great. She fell in love with it. I fell in love with the people, fell in love with her apartment, and it was perfect. It's like a family. That's absolutely the truth. I walk in the door, they know me by name, just the whole community is amazing. It gives me a huge peace of mind.
And then go ahead. This is Dana Tramba, and she is one of our residents at Touchmark. She's been with us about 5 years. So Dana, what was a misconception you had about living in a senior community?
Well, we moved to Touchmark from Mesa, Arizona, and we wanted to live closer to our future caretakers. COVID had hit, and we were just a little bit concerned about being so far away and that we could not see the kids very often. The misconception is that you would have to move to a big apartment complex where you just live in an apartment. And anytime you're in the process, anytime you're thinking about moving, there's usually one of the couple that's dragging their feet. Could that be anybody in here? My husband was dragging his feet until he discovered that we could have a home with a 2-car garage and he could have his workbench in the garage. So we moved to the Parkview homes, and it's probably been 20 years since I've lived in a community where I just know all of my neighbors back in your childhood homes when you had the porches and knew everybody in town. And it's just the friends are what touch my heart at Touchmark. And we wanted to move while we were still young enough that we would have our friends and have our support system when something happens to my spouse or me. And we just love the friends that we have at Touchmark. We are in independent living, and we have all kinds of activities available at Touchmark. I don't
Can you go on to them all?
No.
That's pretty bad.
And this is just the week's, week's supply of it. And I don't do a lot of the activities. What I like about independent living now is that I'm still real independent. I'm an author, I wrote my book, I get out and I do speak. I belong to churches and church groups, I belong to writing clubs. Someday I'm gonna play a good game of bingo, but I'm not ready yet. But I know all of these activities will be available someday, but I like not having to plan meals, not having to go to the grocery store. It's just nice going over to the dining hall, and we just live a block from the dining hall, so we walk over for all of our meals. But Touchmark does provide golf carts if you live in the house, and so there's a lot of people that use the golf carts. But Norman and I know you need to use it or you lose it, so we just keep walking over there. And I thought at one time I was too young to live at a place like Touchmark or any of these retirement communities, but I'm glad I moved at an earlier age, because we do have it's going to be our last move, hopefully, and we do have our support system there. And one thing that's so important to check out is your insurance. You know, we have long-term care insurance, and I called our company before we moved and found out that they will now come into your home and take care of you. They probably found out it's cheaper to do that than pay for your nursing home care. So we'll probably remain in our home the rest of our lives, but they do have memory care and they do have assisted care, and those policies can kick in to help that too. So we're kind of organized. I made a spreadsheet and started out with 20 retirement communities and just narrowed them down and checked them off of the list, and then we ended out visiting the top 6, and then we cut it down to the top 4 after we saw Touchmark.
Wonderful. But so you did your homework.
Oh, I did my homework. Another thing you need to
And came to
do,
your decision.
you need to track all your expenses now, what you spend every month on food, insurance, home insurance, because once you move, you're gonna save a lot of those. We don't have to pay for our house insurance anymore because the home belongs to Touchmark, but we just have to pay for contents. And what you pay for your utilities, all of your utilities are taken care of. They have cable TV at Touchmark. So by the time we figured out all of our expenses and the time I spend going to the grocery store, cooking meals, planning meals, there's value that. So I have loved living at Touchmark at a younger age.
It frees you up.
It does.
It frees you up to do whatever you want to do at a Thunder game or whatever.
I
Someone
think,
else is
yeah,
doing dinner and you
I
just
think we
show up.
all of our lives we worked for retirement.
She was a
And it
nurse,
just-
by the way.
What?
She was a nurse.
Oh, yeah, I was, I'm a retired nurse. So that's an important thing for me to check out too. I checked out memory care, assisted care. I wanted to make sure COVID was big. I wanted to make sure we had a safe, clean community to live in. And that made us feel better about moving into the houses too, because we weren't in a community.
Awesome.
Any other questions or any?
Did you have something else you wanted to cover, or Julie, did she have something?
I think you covered a lot of them. How did you decide that Touchmark was the right one for you?
It was just going through that spreadsheet. And we finally, we didn't have clutter people. Boy, would that have been nice. But I think it was easier for us to move from Arizona to Edmond, Oklahoma than some of these people that move a mile or two away, because I see them making trips back and forth all the time. But you people would keep them from having to do that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You-
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so we did, and then we were able to find we just did our homework. I found an antique store that a lady owned the antique store, and I asked her to come shop our home. She came in and bought $3,000 worth of stuff that I thought I would probably never be able to part with. But I've just cited that little tin playhouse that I used to have 70 years ago. I haven't missed that at all, but I have the memories. And it's just been a blessing to simplify life. Less is more. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're going to move on to our last community, and this is Paula Brooks. And Paula she's been in this industry for quite a while, right? Just not there at Bellagio, but she's doing a fabulous job at Bradford Village. So Paula, take it away and introduce our wonderful guests.
We are delighted to be here today. I brought a support group here. We have all of our panelists, and then in the front row are residents that live with us. So I'm delighted that they came out to support us today and tell you all about independent living. So Bellagio at Bradford Village, we're located just a little bit south of Danforth on Boulevard, and this is a shot of our campus. We are located on 23 acres. We have 63 individual cottages scattered throughout, so we are not an apartment living community. As you can see, we have mature landscaping. Some of the yards have fences. Some of them have patios, covered patios and sunrooms. Each floor plan has been an interesting orientation because every cottage in our community is different. And it's been interesting to look at all the beautiful different floor plans that the residents have shown me. We're an older community, and that gives us great storage space. We have great storage, we have large closets, and we are individually owned, privately owned, so we're not corporate owned. And he also owns a construction company, so they're always updating. Each cottage has either a washer and dryer hookup or a separate laundry room. They have different types of flooring and fixtures. The kitchens primarily have stainless steel appliances, granite countertops, and because it is an older community, there's a lot of built-ins that they have updated. This is a wonderful backyard that I visited recently. Their flowers aren't in bloom yet, but it's a covered patio. As I mentioned, they have sunrooms as well. This is our community center. They do a lot of different activities at the community center, and the residents can actually reserve that. That was a quick shot of our gym. We partner with UCO, and the students come over and lead exercise. That's a very popular activity. Our dining room is not connected to the gym. We're in separate buildings there. They're always doing something. You might see a panelist eating cookies in that shot. We have an annual 4th of July Day Parade. You may have seen us on the news. All the residents come out and sit on their lawns. This is our theater room. These are all residents.
They do a talent show or a drama, a play every year.
Activities director, she has a degree in, I think it's theater, drama, therapy, something of that nature, but she is just such a talented young lady, and they have really enjoyed doing these productions that they do. So I'd like to introduce our panelists that we have. Brought a couple. We have Frank and Carol Andrews. And how long have you lived at the community?
It'll be 5 years in July.
5 years in July. Thank you. And Flo?
How long?
Gregory?
7 years.
7 years. And Laura Stewart?
5 years in April.
5 years in April. So have a good selection. I have some prepared questions that they're gonna answer for you. Laura, you wanna start?
Okay.
What was the most important factor to you as you toured the different communities?
I was needing to move because at the time I was living with my son and his wife.
Well, just a little bit closer with the microphone. Just get it closer now.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay. I was living with my son and his wife, and my son passed away, and my daughter-in-law wanted to move to Yukon to be near some of her children. I didn't want to leave Edmond, so I chose to stay in Edmond and go to Bradford Village, and I chose them because I knew a lot of people there, and it was so warm and friendly, and lots of activities. I can't tell you what all we get planned for us. And I used to be a high school counselor, and I know people in every one of these places. I've written names down of people that I've been connected with in education through the years, and it's just wonderful to live in a senior community and be taken care of. I love it.
Thank you, Lo. Carol, or Laura, do you want to go next?
My question, I can't answer it in 2 words, it wouldn't make any sense.
Okay.
So I have to tell you a little bit of story. My husband and I moved to Edmond in 1988. We bought a house out in southern Logan County, an acreage, big house, our dream home. Then, and we lived there for 32 years. Then in 2019, my husband got sick and went to the hospital, and we discovered the next day that he had cancer. So so I was there, and I would go home at night, and then one day he told me, he said, I don't think I'm gonna make it through the night. So I ran home to get the dog and take him somewhere so that I could spend the night. Walked in the den, and there was water in the floor, on the carpet. It was wet. It wasn't the dog, it was a big whole half of the room. My husband, they were moving him to hospice. I couldn't deal with that. I had to get back to the hospital. So I did, and just tried to wipe what was waiting on me at home out of my mind. So he passed away, and I went home and called people in to dry out the carpet while I it was a connection to the ice maker on the refrigerator. That is what did it. So then, while they were cleaning that out, I started making funeral arrangements. So got that done. 1 week after the funeral, we had a tornado come through the yard. We lived there 32 years, never had any problem like that. I know it's Oklahoma, it can happen anywhere. So we got up I got up the next morning. There were my beautiful backyard full of trees was on the ground, limbs everywhere, limbs on the roof, trees broken. The front yard had a tree uprooted, tore up the driveway. So I had a mess. And so I got people in to clean all that up, and I thought, I'm moving. I'm not going to hang around here to see what happens next. Everybody had told me from day one, you need to wait a year before you make any important decisions. Well, I made important decisions while he was in the hospital. I wasn't going to wait. So after I got all that mess cleaned up, I started looking. Didn't tell anybody I was looking, because everybody said, no, you can't do that. I don't know who wrote those rules, but that's what they said. So I went to some senior living places. First I thought, a 0 lot line, that's my answer. Not a big yard, not a big house. But then, so I looked at 2, and I thought, I can still have water leaks, I can still have trees down, I can still have all kinds of things go wrong. I am not mechanically inclined. I can change a light bulb, that's about it. So I didn't want that responsibility, taking care of a house, big or small. So I started looking at retirement communities. I looked at these and loved them. One big problem, I have a dog. I will always have a dog as long as I'm physically and mentally able, I will have a dog. That's me. So I need a yard, affordable yard. So I started looking. I knew some friends at Bradford Village. I had helped them move several years ago, in fact. And so she took me to some cottages, empty cottages, and they were nice. So I kept thinking about it, On January 27th, 2020, that would be right, I signed the contract. Caitlin, who was Paula then, took me on through some cottages. I needed a yard. I had this dog. I found some with nice fenceable yards, but there was always something wrong with the house. Wasn't what I was looking for. Finally, one came available. A corner lot, big tree, lots of room. And so I chose that, moved in, had a fence put in. The best thing, I have a yard for my dog, and we have our own dog park.
Awesome.
So I never looked back. I mean, it was a great decision.
So Laura, just before we move to the next question quickly, you say not all people fit into the same mold.
No,
You
absolutely.
were ready to be released from maintenance.
Right.
You wanted the maintenance-free life.
Right.
You wanted to be able to be around people and yet have a home and a yard for your dog.
I
So
don't
you
think
went
at
on
that
a search.
time I thought about being around people.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get out of that. I didn't
Out
want
of
to deal
that
with any more
maintenance.
disasters.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. Next question for this lovely couple.
Carol, what made you choose the Loggia Bradford Village as your new home?
Well, Frank and I lived in Yukon for 10 years, and my parents were in Mustang, and I was a caregiver for several of those years. And when they passed away, we were ready. We had been looking around, going to different seminars, and we had visited several retirement communities, and we moved in the middle of COVID. But Bradford Village was a smaller community, and that's what Frank and I really thought we would enjoy. I think we have 80-something residents, and we know every one of them. And we eat meals with them because we eat in one dining room together. So I love that. And the activities, I think I always wished I could be in a book club. And we have a really nice library, and we have a book club. And I always wanted to exercise, and so we exercise with the UCO students. So there's just a lot of things about Bradford Village that fit for me.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
And then, Frank, what do you feel is the best way to determine whether a community is right for you?
Well, I've got a whole list of things here. I'll make it real quick. Number one, she said we spent some time looking. We spent 3 to 4 years going to senior seminars, to touring the different facilities. We took advantage of the socials that they offered. They invited us to different events that they had so we could meet the people. And it helped us a whole lot, spending 3 to 4 years. And when the time was right, the time was right. My big thing is don't wait too long. We learned a long time ago there's 3 phases of retirement. You got your go-go years, your slow-go years, and your no-go years. Don't wait till your no-go years. You will not enjoy it near as much. In fact, it is a gift, as she said, for your kids, because you've made the decision on what you want to do. Don't wait till your no-go years where they might force you to go somewhere you don't want to go to. So that's just my thoughts there. And then the last thing I had was, just feel free to talk to us after the whole seminar is over, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Thank
Frank.
you so much.
I am a licensed administrator, and I've been doing this since 2008, and I will tell you, these folks make my day every time I come to the community. It's just a very special place. I call it modern day Mayberry. It truly is. Each one of those streets are little neighborhoods, and like Frank said, they all know each other, and they get along and have activities. It's just a great place.
Awesome.
I come to
Thank
each
you.
day.
Yes, thank you so much. You should love where you work and you should love where you live, right? I think that's very important. Well, we are going to open it up for you now and answer your questions. I do want to just draw your attention to the stack that's in front of you. Please fill out the feedback or the evaluation form. That lets us know topics that you may want us to incorporate next year. It also lets us know what brought you here, why you're here, and we want to learn and grow just like you. We want to learn and grow together with the Time for Living Seminar. So please fill that out and return that to Emily or Terry right here. We appreciate it. Also, we're going to talk about real quickly about this month and next month. This is the only time that it is the first Tuesday of the month. I apologize if there was any confusion on that. Francis Tuttle had a conflict because of students. So, the things that they had going during these months. But we will return after, so April 1st, no fun. April 1st is our next seminar. So prepare for that. We'd love to register you on the feedback or the eval, or just give us a call. And we want you here learning with us. So I'm going to open the floor up for your questions. Is there something that we did not cover that you would like to ask our testimonials here today, our special guests? Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do then. Maybe other questions will come to light. We're going to start over here with Bob and Kathy, and was there anything you would like to share about your transition to starting this journey, to making this journey, that could help others of what was maybe you were going through at the time?
I'd say the first thing to do is start going through your house. We had so much stuff, and we did it in such a short time that I would have liked to have had more time, but we didn't. So start now. If you're thinking of downsizing, go through your house, little at a time. You'll cry because you'll look at things and I don't want to get rid of this, but you know you don't have any reason to keep it except the memories. So I think it was Shelley that said to me, if I'm not mistaken, take a picture of it. Yeah, take a picture of it.
The other thing too that was really important to us is to recognize, because we looked around, we've lived once again in several countries and different places. We had a lot of solid teak and marble inlay furniture, we had a lot of custom-made stuff, and what we had to do was say to ourselves, we got our investment for all of that. We can let that go. And Kind really helped us a lot to make sure that we had all those things taken care of at Shelley, yes. So for us, the transition was a lot easier because we had made up our minds that this is the next phase, and we couldn't be happier. It has worked out well. The house sold very quickly. I'll be honest with you, there were several times that we would go back and forth, oh, we should have bought this, oh, we should have left that. But that's okay, it all worked out well. And So if that ends up happening with you, that's normal, it's okay. Has there been some anxiety? A little bit, but for the most part, it's been great, super.
So I think we've talked about that in the downsizing section about even if you just start in the kitchen with a couple of drawers, or start in your closet. Start small, spend 15, 20 minutes a day, and then leave it. If you're gonna pre-plan like that, very important, very important. Okay, Ellen, finish your list for us there. What did you not get to talk to us about?
Well, I have to say that I had never lived alone in my life. I went straight from my parents into marriage, and I had never lived alone. And this was quite, a new journey for me. And I immediately made friends, and I feel free and safe. And I went into this situation being very, very tired. And it was like I had to make a decision that this is a new beginning for me, and I can't live in the past. It was a treasured past, a beautiful past, but I can't live there. And this is a new beginning. Now, how am I going to live the rest of my life? And so I found that there's just amazing opportunities to get involved. Like I said, we have resident organizations like the Town Hall, which I just happen to be the president of Town Hall, and I'm getting ready to go back, and we have our program manager, president-elect she's in charge of programming, and so we have the mayor of Yukon coming today to speak to us about the relationship between Spanish Cove and the city of Yukon. And because, we do have a relationship, and our theme this year is to know is to grow. And so we're making sure that our people understand and are informed. And so that's what we're doing. We're having lunch with him, and then we'll go into our meeting today. And so that is a monthly thing that we do. We have a council that meets once a month and plans these events. And I would say that I call my apartment, and I have a lovely apartment. We have a variety of living arrangements. We have the cottages. I don't know how many we have. We have 30 cottages. Thank you, sir. We have 30 cottages, and then we have our buildings where we have apartments that are 8 in a building, or some of them are fewer. Now we are in the process right now of combining some of the smaller apartments, because we find that people like the larger apartments. And so there's a construction project going on right now where we're combining 2 apartments. So the people will have a whole quarter of a building, each apartment. So there'll just be 4 apartments. And those are in the development stages right now. And they're going to be quite lovely. So we're continually upgrading, even though we're a community of 50 years. We're going through a new landscaping project. And we as residents get to be very involved. Like our Board of Trustees, the president of the board is a resident, the secretary is a resident. We have one more board opening that will be a resident. So we are very involved in the Spanish Cove as a whole. And I call my apartment my land and launch apartment. So I land there and I feel great, and I launch from there. And so I have the freedom. I still drive anywhere I want to go. I go to see my children in Texas, or fly if it's too far. And so I'm having a grand old time. And I talked to my son about this today, and he's my soulmate and my counselor. And he said, "Mom, just be happy. That's what you are."
That's wonderful. So Jake, Tell us a little bit about what is something, tell us the number of rooms, the cottages, tell us a little more detail about Spanish Cove, and then also answer the question about what's something that you run across a lot that would help our people.
For sure. So something I didn't get to really explain was that we are a CCRC, a continuing care retirement community, and what that means. So we have a variety of different levels of care in our community. We have independent living, assisted living, long-term nursing care, memory care, and skilled nursing at Spanish Cove. And we have a variety of different contract options and different things for people to pursue depending on what your needs are and what you're looking for.
And it was established by retired teachers.
That's right, yeah, retired Oklahoma educators.
Nonprofit.
Yeah, but now we take everyone to back in the day when we first started. It was retired educators, but anyone is open out to the community. And as far as our units go, we've got a wide variety in size. They range from anywhere between 700 to 1,400 square feet for our apartments, and our cottages range from anywhere between about 1,000 to 2,000 square feet. We're quite a large community. We have about 300 residents that live at Spanish Cove. We have over 200 apartments, and we have 30 cottages. So there's a lot of inventory, a lot of different options to pursue.
So what is the largest rebuff that you hear when you're giving a tour, let's say, to somebody? What's their biggest, not hang up, but pressure on them about making that decision to move?
Yeah, I think it's always letting go of your possessions, like what we talk about on a monthly basis at our downsizing seminars.
Yes.
Having to give up your home, having to give up those memories, and thinking about starting from scratch. Ellen was also talking about that. Seems like that's always going to be the recurring thing that we see on a daily basis.
And it's so important to remember that those memories aren't in those things. Those memories are in your heart.
That's right.
And in your mind. Great. Okay, Julie, what can you share with us, Dana, about a question that you had or that you didn't
a few
cover?
things I thought about. One of the best things we advised was from our financial planner. And we talked to Chris and told him what we were thinking about doing. And he says, I want you to go find a place you'll love to live, and then I'll look at the numbers. But be sure it's a place that you know you're going to love to live and that you're not downgrading your life. You moved from a nice home and you want to go to a nice home. When we saw the houses in Parkview, we knew it was just as lovely as the home we left in Arizona, but the weather's a little schizophrenic here in Oklahoma. And then we get 85% of our investment back when we move out of the home. So that was a selling point for us, and I think if we lived there 3 years, then you've made more money. But it was nice to know that we weren't going to pay a big amount down and then never get anything back.
So I think a good idea, you're saying, is to have that communication with your financial advisor, your children, your whatever.
You want to do that. You want to go over the contracts with your financial advisor. You want to make sure it's a good decision, and so you can just start enjoying life and not worrying about whether or not you can afford it. And you want to find out from all of the places you interview how much it increases every year, if there's an increase in your monthly fees. Those are important things to ask. Do your homework so you can move in and just start loving life. And your kids can come, our kids can come anytime. They can spend the night, they can eat pizza at Charlie's. Our adult children can come to the pub and have a glass of wine if they want to. Family is always welcome, but you want to find a place that you're going to love to live. Don't worry about those kids. Take care of you for the rest of your life.
What about all the friendships you've made?
Oh, wow. I just love the people that live at Touchmark. And when we moved there, Norman said, well, we should move someplace so you get your meals, and if you start missing meals, somebody will be checking on you. And of course, he was thinking it was management, but no, it's your friends. and there's a real bond. And we have a group of ladies, and we call them the gazebo girls, because we have a gazebo in Parkview, and so we get together at 10 o'clock every Wednesday morning just to share and talk and find out what's going on in each other's lives, and then we end with prayer for everybody that's there in the community. But it's my forever friends. It's been a lovely. You think it feels like you've known these people your whole life when you think of your friends, but you've all gone through the same things. You have adult grandkids that are about ready to retire, and then
Yes,
I don't know how they got so old.
Because you haven't.
No,
So what's
they're the
good with
ones
that?
at 18.
Exactly, what's good with that? Because I feel the same. I may walk by the mirror and have a different take, but otherwise, I feel the same, right? Awesome, okay, let's start with you, Frank. What would you like to share with us? You kind of got the cutoff time period there. What's something that you would like to share with, and maybe what was your biggest struggle with making the decision?
That's a hard question because I wasn't struggling. She was.
Okay, so we'll say that question first. Okay, all right,
Well,
sounds good.
and it goes back to what she said earlier too. She was caregiver for mom and dad for 3 years. And we followed my uncle's, he in his mid-70s, he and his wife moved to a retirement community that was a CCRC type, that he spent 22 years in independent living, and at 98, he said it's time to go to assisted living. And of course, his cottage was 1,800 square feet, and his apartment was 1,830 square feet, so he didn't really downsize.
It doesn't sound like it.
But it was their choices. And
Yes.
somebody talked about the downsizing. The only thing I want to add is, if you're saving your stuff for your kids and they haven't got a say in it, you're doing the wrong thing. Talk to them now, let them go through the house and mark it, make a list of what they want, because if you think they want it, they probably don't want it.
Realization, right? Right there, that's true. And things have changed. Things have changed. You know how we used to always have I joke about, you had the flour, sugar, the canister sets, right? That was on your wedding registry and all that kind of stuff. Their cabinets are free of everything. They're minimalist. I mean, they don't have anything out of China. Absolutely. All right, Carol, we gave you tell us what was your biggest struggle with making the move?
Well, I think Frank already said it. It was the caregiving. I just couldn't make that decision when I knew I was going to be spending so much time with mom and dad. But we had investigated this during that whole time I was caregiving. When we had a free day, we were investigating everything.
So you would say it's very important to go tour.
Yes.
Tour places. Okay, very good. That is a great suggestion. I think all of our, they're all open for you to come and schedule a showing, a tour, because that's the only way you're going to see everything in these communities, is to go and tour. Paula brought a great resource for you. It's a list of questions to kind of ask as you're going through. And I always say, when you are touring, really see if they address people by name and if the people talk to them, because that lets you know if they really are invested in the relationship with the people. I have been on tours at all of these communities and others where you go through and you know that's why they came here. They're not missed, they're seen, and they're listened to and they're heard. And once they move in, that's not the end of the story. So it's very important to tour these communities or any community that you're interested in moving to. Very, very important. I think you didn't get to talk much either, did you? Do you have something? And also, Laura, if you have something that you really need to share with everybody.
Okay. During COVID, I led exercise classes in our parking lot. We had more fun doing that, and I'm still going. I'm 95. I have wonderful friends there. And we have garages.
And that's a big plus to a lot of people, isn't
It's
it?
real,
It is a plus,
really
yes.
good, and your car doesn't have to sit out all the time.
And I want to thank you, Laura, for sharing your story, because it's so important that people realize the same shoe doesn't fit everybody. And you did what your heart was saying you needed to do.
Yes,
And I think that's very important.
absolutely. And we were talking about management and being friends with, and on a first name basis with our management. A year or so ago, I had to wear one of these, help me, I've fallen, can't get up, things. And I had gone somewhere and it was dressy, so I put it in my pocket. Came home, changed clothes, and knocked on the door. Well, my dog, when I take my slacks off, he grabs them and shakes them, kills them. So I get a knock on the door, and I thought, oh great, my package is here. So I didn't get up and answer. Then it started, the doorbell rang, then it started pounding on the door. So I thought, well, my goodness, I guess I better check this out. It was the firemen. And they said, we got a message that you fell. I said, I didn't fall. They said, well, we show that your thing you wear detected a fall. I said, I don't even have it on. Oh, yeah.
Good, yeah.
So it had gone bouncing up and down the hallway. And then
Up the stairs, right?
I didn't hear it talking to me because I had put my pants in the drawer and closed the door.
Yeah. That's a great story. So someone was monitoring you. There you go. Awesome.
But anyway, about the time the fireman, I got to explain that, here came Eric, our director,
Yes.
running around the corner. Then here came Caitlin running around the other corner because they had called my daughter, who lives in Georgia, and she didn't know what to do. So she called the number that she had, which was assisted living, and then assisted living had to call Eric.
So they were going to find you and what was happening.
I'm glad it wasn't dangerous.
I know. That is wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you again for coming. We're so glad you're here. And next, I don't know where my clicker is. There it is. Oh, good. Thank you for taking care of me, Casey. The first Tuesday, April 1st, we're going to do time for home health care and private duty. Our own Bethany will be here representing Right at Home, and then we have Kevin Richardson coming for seniors helping seniors. Lots of fun happening that day. So I hope you will register, come, bring a friend, call your family and friends, and come and join us to have a great time. If you please visit our sponsors' tables and get their information and come and visit, and if you have more questions, but fill out your email phone. Right here.